This was a fun one. Masquerade, the Baubles of Doom, developed by Big Ant Studios. You play as a jester named Jax, who's fighting an Italian mafia-like nation of clowns. Jax and Chlamydia, his friend or lover. I don't really know which, but the humor is quite adult at times, so I'm going with the latter.
I have a thing about spiders.
Fetish?
Phobia.
Well, you learn something new every day.
They just found a map to the ancient power orb thingies, or, baubles, hence the name. They're the most powerful balls in all the realm. As you can tell already, this game has a lot of humor in it. So Jax and Chlamydia gets chased by the clowns. They capture Chlamydia, and the entire first game is basically getting her back. So you can get back to your adventure of getting the baubles. Unfortunately, I don't see any signs of a sequel, even though they set up for one. But a boy can hope. Starting with the gameplay. Basic movement is good enough. These days it's pretty hard to mess that up. This is a combo stacking beat-em-up sort of platforming game. It is a 3D platformer, but the jumping feels off and it's hard to land precise platforming. Even just jumping up the stairs gets annoying with how they made it, but the game's platforming isn't too hard, so it's not a big deal. They even help you out at times, like when you're on the balance beams. I felt a bit glued to it so I wouldn't fall off. I'm not sure if that was coding or what, but I felt like something was helping me there. The fighting is like the Batman games. You combo the attacks and you can jump from one enemy to the other. And just like in the Batman games, a little alert thing will pop up to tell you to counter. Unfortunately, it's like the Batman games if they were in alpha. Sometimes you get caught in the attacks and you can't break the enemy's hits, so you just end up dying. Even when the counter alert pops up, it doesn't always work when you press the button. In Batman, I can counter, and pretty much dodge every attack from the other guys, but in this game, if you counter, then it's a free hit for the other guys. It just takes too long to counter and hit and attack. Because while you're doing that, you're not invulnerable, you're not anything, you're free to open and be hit by the other guys. But if you do end up racking up all those combos, it can be very enjoyable. Like I said, it feels like combat is an alpha, but with some tweaking, it would be perfect. And a couple more attack options wouldn't hurt. You do get these 3 final attacks. You get a meter that fills up by collecting red clown noses. There's also a separate meter that fills up when you're collecting these noses to unlock levels 2 and 3 of the final smash. And you can choose which level of the final smash to use by holding down the button, and the longer you hold it down, you can use a stronger attack. This is great because you don't always want to deplete your meter every time. Sometimes you're versing just one guy, so you want to use the first attack. Sometimes you're versing a couple guys, so you want to use the second attack to hit an area attack. And sometimes you're just versing a lot of people, so then you use the final smash, which just is a powerful move. Another attack he has is the hammer throw. This can be useful, but he just sits in place when he uses it, defenseless. So you have to be smart about it. Really, it's just another attack that's unnecessarily limit the player. They do have some instances where you're kind of forced to use it to hit people where you can't reach, but for the most part, since you can't move, throw it and can't move, and it is your hammer, so therefore you can't continually attack, even if you could move, it just kind of hurts the game. Overall, the combat can be frustrating, but I still had a lot of fun with it. It just needs tweaks. Same with the jumping. But the controls aren't the highlight of this game. What makes this game stand out is the humor. It's silly, adult, cartoony, fourth wall breaking, and just stupid funny at times. You're against the Italian clown mafia, basically, and what could be more funny than that? This game does not take itself seriously, and neither should you. It's just go there, enjoy the story, and have a good time. Just take a look at a couple of these clips to see what I mean.
What you doing in there?
Reading?
You can't read in there.
Oh, why not?
This here is an official clown army spawn point. You're blocking the spawning, pal.
Hey, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
What you reading?
Big Red Noses, July edition.
Hey, it's the blue guy! Get off the sea!
Who's blocking the spawn point?
Coming through!
Defend the outhouse!
So, how was the date with Miss July? It was fantastic. Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Hey, can you keep the secret?
Yeah.
Hey, come closer. She gave you a nose job.
Get out of here!
What have I done? Oh, okay. Nobody saw me.
You did! It's the Jester! Hammer throw! Yes! The Jester! Hammer throw! Oh!
And there's this great side story about one of the clowns of the game that really follows through all the way till the end. It's odd, but it's kind of funny because it's like, oh, hey, Jeff. You know, it mentions Jeff in the beginning, and then it just, as more clowns are kind of just sitting around before you get to them, and they're like, oh, look, it's the Jester, try to attack him. They're talking about Jeff, and it just keeps going all the way to the end, and it's just like, okay, that's interesting. I don't know, I like that they committed to this one, that one guy. Now let's talk about the bosses. The end of each level has a boss. But it's not really a boss, it's more like the strongest minion. It is fun to get them since you interact with them from the start of the level, and in the end you finally get to fight them. So the story aspect and the humor is there, but the boss fights aren't that great. Again, it's just like fighting a big minion. It's not really fighting a boss, because they don't have like any super special mechanics, and the ones who do have some special mechanics, it's just not like unique to that one character. It's like, okay, it's like someone shooting cannonballs at you. It's like, that's not really unique to the character, but it's like, alright, I guess that is different from just hitting you. And some of the bosses, you know, their abilities can be pretty cheap. Like I said, the shooting cannonballs at you as you're trying to fight the guy. For most of the combat and most of the abilities I already told you, you kind of sit in place, easily defenseless and able to get hit, except for the guy you're hitting. So cannonballs flying at you in a game that you can't really move around a lot and traverse and dodge, it's just gonna hit you. And there is a dodging mechanic, it's just bad. But overall, the difficulty of the bosses really aren't that bad. Once you kind of get used to it and get used to what you're supposed to do, you can beat them. It's difficult enough to keep things interesting, but not too punishing to which you would quit the game. There's a level where there's 3 bosses with their own unique personalities and fight mechanics, and that's pretty much at the end, and they're the bosses before the final boss. So you fight all 3 of them separately, and then you fight them all together depending on the difficulty that you chose. So if you chose easy, then you'd fight only one of them. You chose medium, you'd fight 2 of them. You chose hard, you'd fight all 3 of them. And it's fourth wall breaking, like I beat it on medium, so the guy was like, what, you a pansy? What, you didn't want to do it on hard? Ah, screw this, I'm out of here. Type of deal, and it was pretty funny. I like the humor. You know, these 3 are basically one big boss, because they're always bickering with each other. You fight them, even though you fight them separately at first, it's still fun to interact with them.
Let's get 'em. Hold your noses. We got a medium player here. No! You are a joke! I only play hard mode!
Keep running, Red!
Now the final boss is a really big character. He just charges at you and you have to dodge him, so he trips and falls down, and then you can hit him. He will also just walk up to you and smack you down. With that attack, he doesn't get vulnerable, so you can hit him back, so you just gotta run away. And there will be a bunch of mob enemies spawning in to attack you after the boss reaches certain points of his health. It was a very long fight, which for a final boss is good, but not in the exact way that they did it. At least, it had some checkpoints. The fight was repetitive. Dodge the boss attacks, make the boss vulnerable, hit him, fight the boss mobs, repeat. For long boss fights, I lean more towards phases where the location changes, or where the boss gets new abilities, or both. Something that shakes up the fight. Don't get me wrong, I do enjoy this fight, and all the hype around the final boss was well deserved. I just think the boss should have had less health, or given more abilities, or fight phases. I think it's great that he trips when he's charging and misses you and he falls down, and that's when you can hurt him, like kick him while he's down. And when he's charging, he can even hit his own mobs, so it hurts them too. It's pretty funny. Enemy on enemy violence is always appreciated in my book. The character design of the final boss is also strange. He looks more like the bodyguard of the final boss instead of the final boss himself. It's a great look, and I can see it making sense since there is a larger hierarchy above the big nose in the story, but I feel like you could have made him look more unique to the final boss than just kind of make him look like a big strong character. Let's talk about 100%ing this. Since the gameplay isn't the best, I would say 100%ing can be really annoying. You also have to collect these Jester Hat bells, but the problem is that they're in the scenery props which blend in with everything else. Not only do you need to figure out what you can hit and what you can't hit, you pretty much have to hit all of them to figure out which ones have the bells in it. And there is no backtracking, no skipping cutscenes. Each level is its own thing that once finished saves your score, but will reset when you go back to it. So you have to find everything in one run. and some levels have parts in levels to which you can't go all the way back to the beginning. With Crash Bandicoot, the gems are hidden, but at least floating in the air. The boxes stand out from everything else in the game, indicating that you can break them. Imagine if the number of those boxes were doubled. Half gave you nothing, and you can't tell if they were part of the decorations, the scenery, or something you were just supposed to hit. It's just not worth trying to 100%. As for the difficulty levels, I think there is 1 or 2 boss fights that are affected by it. I assume you just get stronger enemies and more of them the higher up in difficulty you go, but just like the collectibles, it's not worth dealing with. And the fighting is the best, so do you really want to do the harder difficulties? Also, the backtracking, you don't keep your level of the Final Smash either. If you go to the 3rd level, the Final Smash, then you still won't be able to go back to level 1 and use it. It truly is like you're playing that level for the first time again if you play it again. But overall, the gameplay of this game is not what made me keep going, it was the story of the game. So play it on easy, enjoy the run, and just forget about 100%ing it, unless you really want to and really want to punish yourself. So my final review, I paid $15 for this, and personally, I would pay $20 for it. If they fixed everything I mentioned, $30. If they fixed everything I mentioned and added even more, like say in the sequel, I would go up to $45, even $60. Everything in this game is there, except for the game part. The story is there, it's got a great premise, great ideas. It's just the gameplay that needs to be better. The level design needs to be better. And if you do all that, I think you have a great game on your hands. All in all, it was too short and I'm craving so much more. The gameplay was janky and annoying at times, but fun enough to get through. The real treat of the game is the storytelling and the humor. Without it, I would have put the game down after the first level.